Yep. That's me. Probably how I ended up, you're probably wondering how I ended up in that situation. Well, hi, I'm Arielle. I started Socratica nodes in Vancouver, Montreal, and Boston, which is where I currently live and scheme. And what you just saw was a movement that one of my best friends, John, and I put together. And what you need to know about John and I is we love bringing strangers together for strange reasons. I started lettuce clubs across Canada where people eat heads of lettuce to become the head of lettuce. John started a cult at Harvard called the Choosening that still exists today. Underground Beyblade leagues, casting integration bees, crab runs, cloud days. You can kind of get the picture just from that. But to truly understand this march, we'll have to go all the way back to 1897 in Boston, Massachusetts, where we'll find the oldest subway system in North America. This is the MBTA, otherwise known as the T. And over the last 125 years, there's been so many innovations on the T, starting from the horse carriages that Rickard really did not like, to the electric trams, to new line expansions. But none have been as pivotal, important, and groundbreaking as putting eyes on the front of each train. This is the story of our vision to give the T vision. When I first moved to Boston, I had to wait over 30 minutes for a train to go anywhere. And as it would pull up, slowly screeching and honestly on its last legs, I couldn't help but feel bad for the train. It didn't want to be late. It felt bad being late. And that's how we came up with anthropomorphizing the T. If you put eyes on the front of the trains, maybe we would feel more empathetic towards them. But we didn't want it to just be a one and done thing where we stuck them on ourselves. We wanted this to be a lasting movement. So John and I got to work and we put together this march in 3 Socratica sessions. In the first, we wrote our manifesto and made an event page detailing why we want eyes on the T. In the second, I reached out cold to over 50 press outlets, telling them all about our march. I also got all of my friends involved, reached out to public transit influencers. They exist, and I love you very much. And I printed out hundreds of posters and put them all around Boston at every single T stop I could, getting all my friends involved. It was a very heroic effort. And in the third week, I made a bunch of posters. Shout out to all the posters I see in the chat. And John came out with a bunch of chants. But instead of reading them out loud to you, I thought maybe we could do them together. Yeah? If you guys want to repeat after me. Red line, orange line, green line, blue. Stick those googly eyes on with glue. Oh my God, you guys sound so good. Amazing. We'll do a lot more of those. And the day before our march, we only had 6 RSVPs on our Luma, despite all of the marketing effort we went through. And I had a nightmare that it was just going to be John and I with these 30 posters screaming and yelling all the way to the T. Maybe there was a bunch of cameras looking at us. And I woke up with conviction. Even if it was just the 2 of us, we were going to see it through to the end. And that's the beauty about committing to the bit. It's a lot easier to do when you're with your best friend. So the next day, we head out to the march. We're there, we're setting up, and it really is just the 2 of us for the first 30 minutes. Straight up, no one pulled up. And there was a bunch of news reporters who came after seeing all of our emails and our posters. But it didn't matter because we were yelling and chanting and screaming, and all of these strangers were passing by, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And we were like, "We want eyes on the T." And they were just like, "Yeah, I want eyes on the T too." And suddenly people were joining us, and people were dripped out in T merch, so they had saw it, they just didn't RSVP. And we had people who really cared about this march. They blocked off time off the calendars to come, they made their own posters, and suddenly we were off to the races. We were yelling all the way to the MBTA offices, chanting, screaming, why we need eyes on the T. We were chanting things like this. One more. Dot your I's and cross your T's. Googly eyes on T trains, please. Yeah, we stay polite. And as every good story goes, the rest was actually silent. We got straight up ghosted for a whole month. The MBTA just did not reply to any of our emails. They never followed up. We don't even know if they saw our march. But it didn't matter because we were happy. People had pulled up. They had a good time. And we really thought that we pulled off a successful march. But then a few days passed, and my friend sends me this photo. And she's like, the Green Line has eyes. And I called John. I'm like, dude, the Green Line has eyes. And 10 minutes later, we get an email from the MBTA making an official statement that, yes, they had put these eyes on one of the trains. But they also put them on 4 other ones. Yeah. And when I look back on why this march was so successful, it's because we gave people something to root for. Despite the MBTA being in its worst condition ever known to man, we still wanted the T to be better. We wanted the T to have eyes. And the vision was accessible to everybody, from kids to grandparents. We had so many people from all different ages come to the march and support it, because everyone wanted to support a little bit of whimsy on their daily commute. And lastly, it was just a really strong, endless commitment to the bit. There was a world where John and I just canceled the night before with our 6 RSVPs, and there's this world where we have eyes on the T. So it's beautiful, really. For a moment in time, the MBTA was the world's favorite transit authority, and those words have never been said in the history of the MBTA. And there's really no better way to end this than one last chant. M to the B to the T to the A. Googly eyes are here to stay. Thank you.